Hello and welcome to the Regional Print Centre's video mini-series about relief printing. We are going to be making two prints of the same image. One using Japanese vinyl, and we print this the same way that we do traditional linoleum. Also, we shall be making a print using an adaptation of Japanese woodblock printing. I'm very familiar with working with Japanese vinyl. The Japanese woodblock process much less so. It's going to be interesting to see what I can achieve with this. So the start of this project, I'm going to do a comparison relief print between one done on cut into plywood. This is 3-4mm plywood, and one cut into Japanese vinyl. It's going to be the same image, and it's going to be a reduction print. And I'm starting off by drawing the first layer of the cut onto a sheet of paper, and it's really just going to be about mark making as much as anything. I've made a tracing which I'm going to copy the image onto the tracing and then transfer it onto the matrix that I'm working with. I'm stuck with the size of the plywood that I've got, so I'm going to cut the Japanese vinyl, which is this, to the same size so as they'll be identical. And I'm going to go through the process of working with the two different medias and seeing what the end results come out like. So I'm going to start off by tracing these lines that are here onto this tracing paper. As you can see, they're just made by felt tip markers and just basically drawing with several markers at the same time to create these shapes that I'm looking for. And over the next few episodes of recordings, I should say, we'll see how the image develops and what the results are coming out like. So you can see that this is going to take some time, so rather than having you watch me make a tracing of this image, I'm going to stop this video at this point and continue it when I come on to the next stage. Here we have the two plates. I've transferred the drawing as a tracing onto the plate, the areas I'm going to cut. So the red lines you see on the plate are what's going to be cut away at this stage. This one here is done on Japanese ply, and I'm going to be cutting across the grain. I'll be cutting with a V-shaped gouge, not in the traditional mokuhangu way, but in the Western style of cutting. This one, which is on Japanese vinyl, I'll be cutting with the traditional liner cutting tools. Again, cutting away the red lines, and then we're going to print them, and at the end of the process we'll compare and see what the difference is between the two. Starting with Japanese plywood plate, we'll start work on that. I'll move this one out of the way for the time being. And the tool I'm using is one of the Power Grip V-shape cutting gouges. So as per normal, keep my hands away from behind the blade and just begin the cut. first cut. One of the differences between these and the sort of Swiss liner cutting gouge, you hold them different at a different angle. The angle that is on the blade is slightly different. So to control the cut, you're almost got it at an angle which is quite astute. I'm at the workbench here, I'm sitting, but I'm probably going to be better standing because I'm not putting quite as much pressure on my wrist then. So I'll carry on cutting the rest of this plate and come back to you when I've done this one and moved on to the second one. Okay, so I've finished cutting this one now. I'm going to move on to the Japanese vinyl. I think holding it at an angle, you can probably see the cut in it a little bit better than just having it flat. So that's ready to go and ready for the print now. And we'll go through the registration shortly. Okay, put that to one side. And now I'll pick up the Japanese vinyl. Japanese vinyl I use a lot in my relief printmaking. It has a green surface and a blue surface. I tend to prefer the green, I don't know why, but the middle is black, so it makes it quite easy to see what you're cutting when you're working with it, and it does tend to hold, I find, quite a nice fine line without the crumbling that you sometimes have with traditional lino. Okay, so the tools I'm using are the Swiss tools, again a V-shaped gouge, two different sizes. I'm going to try it out and see which one's the best. I'm probably going to work with the smaller one and see how that goes. So I'm going to try and vary the line in this quite a bit. So I'm moving my hand up and down to try and achieve a different sort of thickness as I cut. So yeah, I got a fine line cut in that. I don't know whether you can pick it up in the camera. I'm hoping so. And I'm going to carry on and complete the rest of the plate with this tool now. It's going to print quite fine, but I don't want a lot of white on this particular print. So it should suffice really for what I want. There you have it. The two plates are cut for the first impression. It's ready to go and print. You can see the lines are a little finer on the Japanese vinyl than I've done on the wood, on the plywood. I'm used to the Japanese vinyl, so I know what I can achieve with this. Whereas when it comes to the wood, I haven't done a great deal of it. So we'll see how it comes out. We're going to look at the difference between the two processes. One will use the Aqua Intaglio inks, and this one will use nori paste and watercolours. Hopefully we'll get some decent results.